13-0. Career winning percentage, 833, ranks 4th in our history. Academic, all Big Ten. Is writing a blog. Have you been on nusports.com? These words, right? I got that right? Yeah. All right, so check it out. Father is a former USSR fencing champion, which the bloodlines are strong in fencing, right? Community service is off the charts, 2 or 3 things. Special Olympics field day, Dewey Elementary, and has had a hand in the International Walk to School Day in the fall, which is just this past fall, right? Okay, welcome. The floor is yours.
Let's clap it up.
Okay, well, on every team, on every sports team at least, I found that there's always at least one teammate who gets picked on the most, who's butt of the joke, gets the hardest time, and on the fencing team at Northwestern, that would have to be me. When preparing for this speech, pretty much everyone I talked to told me to, make it funny, throw some jokes, but I'm used to people laughing at me, not with me. So I figured I would go a different route. I'm going to speak more from the heart, more specifically from the place in my heart that Northwestern holds. I moved to the United States when I was just a baby. I was 1 year old, and I started fencing not too long after, when I was 6. I knew that if I wanted to attend college in the United States and be the first in my family to do so, I had no choice but to excel at some sport. And fencing has always been huge in my family, as Dr. Phillips mentioned. My dad was my coach, my uncle was my coach, and I grew up training with my cousins. So, yeah, family and fencing is pretty much the same thing. Fencing is the reason I was able to move to the United States. Fencing is the reason I moved to Michigan, and fencing is thankfully the reason I'm at this amazing school now. Just like any high school senior, picking a college to attend was a tough decision to make. I'd always liked Northwestern, but I was hesitant because there was no men's team. I was close to home, which I kind of like. But anyway, I know people say it all the time, and it's almost gotten to be a cliche that Northwestern has anything you could ever want to offer. And I mean, it's true, and that's ultimately what landed me here. It's a beautiful school right by Chicago, an enviable education, and most importantly, I got the opportunity to continue doing the sport that I love, and I'm very thankful to my coaches for that. What I didn't realize on my visit was that other than this cliche, there was so much more about Northwestern that I couldn't pick up from a visit, I couldn't read off of a brochure, and I definitely can't even probably portray to every one of you here just through a speech. But I've mentioned before that fencing and family was synonymous for my entire life. I didn't know after my visit and after I committed to Northwestern that I would be able to expand on this family. I don't know how many of you know, but technically fencing is an individual sport. And when I got to Northwestern, I was thrown into this team atmosphere, team environment, and I was super unfamiliar with it because I always just held myself accountable, kind of done my own thing. And it was freshman year, our first home duels, and we were up against Ohio State, which is some of our toughest competition that we ever faced. And usually I have no trouble with the girls at Ohio State, but I was in like a tailspin. I was losing bout after bout that day, and it was kind of like, I don't really like to cry in public or cry at all, and I was just breaking down right on the strip. And just as I was like entering panic mode, my teammate and fellow starter that day, Devin Patterson, took me by the shoulders and like shook some sense into me, and she said something that I'll never forget. And she was like, "Diana, this is what a team is for. We'll pick up your slack, Cam and Dev. We've got this." And I was like, wow, okay. And the girls went 3-0 and swept Ohio State, and they're the reason that we were able to beat Ohio State for the first time in so many years. A lot of years. And I was so proud of them, but most importantly, I realized that I had this all-new support system that was there for me, and that they would be there for me both on the strip with fencing and off the strip in the real world. So I guess that's what's most important and what I love most about Northwestern is that the support system isn't just within my squad or my team or between me and my coaches, it transcends into the entire Northwestern athletic community. From coaches to training staff, and even to my academic advisor, who gets a special thank you for putting up with me. Mary Beth, I love you. There are people happy and ready to help me with any problems that I have and always give me some encouraging words or advice anywhere that I turn. Basically, like I said, nothing can really describe my experiences at Northwestern or, pitch these experiences or these feelings that I've had to anyone, considering Northwestern, or because these are things I would have never picked up on or never would have dreamed possible when I visited the school and fell in love with it initially. No one really knows how special it is to be a Wildcat and the opportunities that come with it. Basically, I just wanted to say thank you, and it's a great feeling knowing that as long as I have fencing and as long as I have this newfound family that I have here, then the opportunities are limitless. Thank you.
Great job, awesome job. I failed to mention a junior political science major from Grand Rapids. Terrific, we're really proud of you. Mike Jensen.